So this is our media project, and we are going to talk about the unicorn movement, which was inspired by the festival Burning Man, who is a big festival in the United States. This festival is based on exchange economy, and art performance play a big role in the festival. And we are going to look at the unicorn movement, which is inspired by the Burning Man festival. The unicorn movement was created in the UK. Let's take a look at the first extract.
I had a vision when I was in Jerusalem that I was this unicorn god. Everyone just said I was mental. Basically, I don't really fit out there.
So two things we want to stress about the previous video is the theme of not belonging that Gubernau also stresses, and the spiritual element of the creator. So let's now take a second look at the creator and his vision of what it means to belong to the unicorn movement.
I work for one of the biggest TV channels on the planet. I'm a freelance art director there. Basically can't cage a unicorn, I only freelance. One hoof in the corporate world and one hoof in the hippie world.
The creator lives in a democratic state, the UK, which is a welfare state, and he has the finances to travel and to go to a festival like Burning Man.
But this is the longest thing I've ever been. It all started 2011. I basically started going to all the Burning Man events, and it showed me what the world can be like. That's where I was born as a unicorn. I basically ended up travelling the world by myself, being fabulous. Now we have something which is a business. It just grew and grew and grew.
What we want to stress in this extract is that the fact of him being reborn, so he really feels he's got a new identity, but this identity is also very short-lived. He literally says, this is the longest identity I've ever had. And he feels that he wants to be inspirational of other people as well, and that we can rate at which this movement is growing. And we were wondering why.
Basically, you can get pretty lonely just wanting to share love, and a lot of people just want to tear you down. So I feel like I've found my unicorn family, and I can be free to spread it far and wide because everybody needs a bit of unicorn love.
The following quote is of Montserrat Guiberneau. The group offers a home, a familiar space, physical, virtual or imagined, where individuals share common interests, values and principles. We can find the idea of having a family, of belonging to a specific group. She also talks about spreading love, spreading the unicorn and being free. Let's take a closer look to the community.
I'm not happy with reality at all because it's shit. People don't get me out there. Just so you know the importance of Burning Man in my life, it's literally changed everything. My business, my friendship, my love life, everything. My life has always been out at the Burns. What I try to create out there, I try to create here. The principles of Unicornia are the things that I live by. They really help me to cope in this fucked up grey world. Always be fabulous to one another and the universe will deliver. When you shine, you enable others to shine around you. If you love everyone, there'll be more love in the world. You can't cage a unicorn, we're a symbol of freedom. A unicorn is never late nor on time. Number 10, never be afraid of change. Embrace it, you wouldn't be here now if you didn't change.
This reminded us of another quote by Gubernau. Belonging automatically brings about the distinction between members and aliens or strangers, the distance between those to be trusted and those to be suspicious of, the contrast between familiarity and alienation, and the assumption that similar norms and values are shared by those who belong. We see that this new movement, new community makes rules to strengthen social cohesion, but still there's a lot of freedom within the movement.
Now we have cosmocorns, gothicorns, glamourcorns, different more fabulous creations rather than having just pure bloods and just warrior calls.
As we can see, the members within the community are still trying to develop their own identities within the movement. Let's take a look now to how they relate to normal society.
Basically, I'll get my civvies so I don't get like bummed out there by all the normals.
What do you mean by normals?
You know, them, the townies that run the world.
They actively try to distinguish themselves from the normals. They feel different, are different. But the relationship to the normals is at the same time much more difficult, as are the relationships within the community.
Why I come out on the boat is because it's kind of my way of escaping the borders of what life sets you in your daily routine. When I first moved to London, I was really lonely. I didn't have anywhere to start with a friendship. When you wear bright colours or you wear glitter, it gives a stranger an invitation to say hi or to comment on what you're wearing. And in that way, London isn't a lonely place anymore. You just kind of allow the magic to happen. You're kind of creating an introduction for it to happen. The unicorns for me, yeah, it's who I am. But there's some elements that doesn't fit in with me personally. I think Shaft has always been driven with polyamory because that's his dream. So I think he imagined that it would all go hand in hand. He'd have this group of sparkly unicorns that would always make love on the weekends as a big group and everyone would be dating each other. But not many of the other unicorns have the same philosophy as him.
As we can see, although they see themselves as very different, they still yearn for contact with the normals, wanting to inspire them and be accepted by them. At the same time, they have a leader who has very definite ideas about what the movement should look like that all the unicorns themselves have to decide how to relate to. So we see that people put in a lot of hard work in this movement.
It's hard work being a unicorn all of the time. I think performing, dressing up, could sometimes be a coping strategy.
Maybe we're all a little bit nervous or sensitive, or we've got characteristics that are like a bit introvert.
I started to feel like my life, like nothing was happening in my life and getting panic attacks. You know, the more isolate you are, the more sad you get. You need to just see people sometimes and snap out of it.
We see that the hard work they put into the movement is a way of coping for them. It makes it easier for them to deal with being normal in society, which reminded us of another quote by Gubernau. The lack of clear prescriptions on what to choose and how to act unless a person obeys the principles of a specific doctrine or ideology adds greater difficulty. They feel unhappy when they don't have strict rules to live by, so they join the movement. And they see their thoughts, as an inspiration to other people as well.
I realised I don't need this to be myself. This enables me to be more of myself. We're not going to tell anyone and go, you should become a unicorn. You shouldn't. You should be who you want to be, as long as it's fabulous and fucking awesome.
One critique that can be made about the text of Guy Bourneau is that she really focused on Occidental states, on the Western societies. That within the Western societies, people are more free to choose their own identities. But, as we can see, there are also other movements, especially in the gay scene, in countries which are not so democratic, and those movements also take extreme forms, like the one we studied for this class.
A second critique to be made is that this poses belonging too much as a rational choice, like we choose what movements to belong. And that's why we chose this example to kind of ridicule this, because here it's an obvious choice. By not feeling that they belong to society, they chose to create their own society, their own community. But we feel that being normal, you don't really choose to belong somewhere, but rather you are born somewhere and it's not really a rational choice. Well, these are our thoughts. Thanks for watching our amazing video project. Bye!
And don't forget to be fabulous!